really quick. I'm gonna let you break it down. I just want to make sure we're getting the engagement between me and Hijab right on point. Because Hijab's point, as you said, was simply that the Quran is referred to as Al-Furqan, puts it as the criterion over the Torah and the Gospel because it's called Al-Furqan. Not because of any other verses that because of the title of Al-Furqan, it puts the Quran as criterion over the previous scriptures. That was his point. My counter to that was, well, the Torah also holds the title of Al-Furqan. So to be consistent, can we say then, because it holds that title, with your argument and your logic, that the Torah is criterion over the Quran? Can't it go both ways or no? We got somebody named Muslim on the track. What's up, man?
Hello.
Hey, yeah, everybody, make sure you guys pray for Omar, man. Please pray for that young brother, because nice guy and everything, but just extremely disingenuous with the verses.
Be nice to him in the comments. I mean, we should be welcoming into Christianity and not pushing him away.
Well, I think there's two sides to that, IP.
That's fair.
There's one side where they're all welcoming, and then when the guy shows that he's being disingenuous and playing games, that's when the chat starts calling him out for it. And then they start playing victim and saying, oh, the chat's so mean. No, they're calling you out for what you are, what you're doing. So then you then address the chat and say, I hope everybody can be sincere with how we treat each other. And then you continue to go on and be disingenuous and play games when we're talking. And then they call you out for that. So, we don't do that here, man. We don't do the crybaby victim stuff here. Be genuine. If you're genuine and honest, they'll recognize it. And if they don't, we'll definitely call them out if someone is being a stumbling block in the chat. But we usually call it how we see it here. All right. Sorry. Alex, Muslim, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you both?
I'm good, man. IP's good too. Can't you tell?
I'm doing good. This is my happy face.
So did you see the debate with Muhammad Hijab and myself?
I saw parts of it.
Okay. What part did you get to see?
The part about the Torah also being called the Furqan.
Okay. And what did you think about that segment? Do you think that I made a good point there, or do you think Muhammad Hijab was making a good point? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I want to be as unbiased as possible. I see both of you sides' argument. However, you already know that Muslims believe that the Torah was fully preserved at the time of Moses, right? So it was obviously the criterion. You can also say that for the teachings of Jesus at his time, whatever he was saying as gospels is also like the criterion. So if you want to maybe explain your rebuttal there, I didn't really get it.
Well, he asked me what Furqan meant, and I told him what it meant. He laughed, and then I said, well, the Quran says the Torah is Al-Furqan. So what point was Hijab trying to make there?
Yeah, so are you saying that both the Torah and the Quran are the Furqan at the same time? There's nothing to distinguish between them?
I would say that the Torah is a criterion over the Quran, but you won't get that just off the name criterion or Al-Furqan.
In an ultimate way or on specific things? What do you mean by that?
In an ultimate way, yeah.
Okay, so when the Quran ascribes the Jews to pages, for example, while they have the Torah, isn't the Quran an authority on them, at least in that regard?
Yeah, but that doesn't go against the Torah necessarily.
I know, but you said in every regard.
No, I said absolutely. So meaning, if the Quran is not in line with the Torah, then the Quran's false.
Yeah, just to add, I mean, just remember, what we often see throughout the Quran, like in Surah 2, is the reason that they should believe in the Quran is because it's confirming their scriptures, the Torah, which is called a criterion in Surah 2 as well. So it's like, hey, you should accept this as a standard of truth because it's in line with what you already have as a standard of truth.
Yeah, we can speak about confirmation, but so you didn't mean everything when you said absolutely. So can you just elaborate on that a little bit?
So before we do that, I I just want to, on the portion that you saw with the Furqan thing, you said that you saw that both of us made a point of, well, he didn't make a point with Furqan. He just asked me and thought that and just did a historical, like, did he actually make a point with the Furqan thing?
Yeah, I think when you read the Quran as a whole, the Quran, you could say, if I'm trying to be as charitable as possible, it is the Furqan in many regards over the Torah.
Yeah, is that what HIJAB'S point was? You muted yourself. Yeah, I meant his.
Yeah, hello? Yeah, sorry. What did you ask about hijab?
I said, is that the point that he made, or is that the point you're making?
Look, I mean, when you're like in a conversation, you're not gonna like, every statement you make, you're not gonna make, every single, mention every single caveat to it. I mean,
Okay. So you think that, so you're saying that if you're being charitable, you're saying that Muhammad Hijab's point was, when he asked me, what does Furqan mean, is that he was saying that the Quran, because it refers to itself as the Furqan, that it's a criterion over the previous scriptures. Is that right?
Yes, I think he's right on that.
Okay. Well, I know that. So now, with my response being, well, the Torah is also referred to as Al-Furqan. And so if we're going to be consistent, then that means that, to be fair and consistent, we can say that the Torah is Al-Furqan, or criterion over the Quran, right?
No, for many reasons. It wouldn't work, because we can go to many verses and I can make my case, but
that's fine. No,
just on the basis of laws, for example.
Wait, just really quick. I'm gonna let you break it down. I just want to make sure we're getting the engagement between me and Hijab right on point, because Hijab's point, as you said, was simply that the Quran is referred to as Al-Furqan, puts it as the criterion over the Torah and the Gospel, because it's called Al-Furqan, not because of any other verses that because of the title of Al-Furqan, it puts the Quran as criterion over the previous scriptures. That was his point. My counter to that was, well, the Torah also holds the title of Al-Furqan. So to be consistent, can we say then, because it holds that title, with your argument and your logic, that the Torah is criterion over the Quran? Can't it go both ways, or no?
Yeah, so again, I wasn't like inside the mind of hijab, for example, but you obviously know that hijab and all Muslims believe that the Torah was, fully true or fully uncorrupted. So of course he's not saying it in a way that you're trying to say.
He didn't even know it. He didn't even know that the Torah was called Al-Furqan. I had to teach him that. He didn't know that.
In the debate, he never said that the original scriptures were uncorrupted and preserved.
He didn't make that point.
He never mentioned that in the debate.
Not that I remember.
Yeah, maybe he did or not, but of course he probably every Muslim believes in that. If you don't believe in that, you're not a Muslim anyway.
That's fine. I assume he believes that, of course. But I'm saying, in the point about Al-Furqan, he didn't know that the Torah was also called Al-Furqan until I told him. He didn't know that. And so the logic of, the Quran is called Al-Furqan means nothing, because so is the Torah. So his point meant nothing. You get what I'm saying? Unless it goes both. If it don't go both ways, his point means nothing. He's making a dumb argument.
Maybe if you want to be too literal, but given who he is and what he believes in, of course he didn't mean it in a way that you're portraying it. It's simply based off the fact that, as I said, I don't want to keep repeating myself. We all know the Torah was uncorrupted and fully preserved, so it was obviously also like the criterion. So
I got you. So it looks like you're giving more credit to Hijab than he deserves. I think you're a lot smarter than he is. So in reasoning with this, when did the Torah stop being Al-Furqan? Can you show me that?
Yeah, we can go to some verses.
Okay.
But also, I'm not throwing the Torah away. I'm not saying that there isn't, still a lot of truths in it. Just because at the time of the Quran, it's not Al-Furqan in a like ultimate sense. It doesn't mean that it's not, that it doesn't hold to a lot of truths and, still contain a lot of what was revealed from God.
Yeah.
But we can go to some verses.
Sure. Because I never see a distinction between Al-Furqan or criterion and some ultimate sense and then a lesser sense of criteria. I never see that distinction in the Quran. So you're going to have to show me this stuff, man. Because you said that the Quran or the Torah used to be the Al-Furqan when it was preserved. So I'm assuming you're saying it's not Al-Furqan anymore. So that's the first thing I want to see is where does the Quran say that the Torah is no longer Al-Furqan?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's no longer Al-Furqan in that sense, because I said that it still contains a lot of truth. So you can still use it for a lot of things to distinguish truth from falsehood. But when it comes to, especially between the three books, at the time of the Prophet, now the Quran is the final and ultimate Furqan. Because there isn't a single verse in the Quran where at the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, in the context of 7th century, any book other than the Quran is called Al-Furqan.
Okay. So where does the Quran say that it now is the like only or final and ultimate Furqan over the previous scriptures? Where does the Quran say that?
Many verses. One that I'd like to So one that I'd like to speak about first, which I mentioned earlier, was just on the basis of laws. When the Quran is enforcing a law onto the Jews, for example, who were reading the Torah. So would you say the Quran is, at least in the sense of laws, the criterion over their laws?
No, not at all.
Not according to 548. It says that we have 540. The second half of 548 says we have given each of you a book and laws. So, the Muslims are supposed to use the Quran, but the Christians are supposed to use the gospel and the Torah, and the Jews are supposed to use the Torah. So it's very clear that it's not saying these laws are on top of them. It's you have your own laws.
Would you say that when Jesus comes back and abolishes the jizya, that he's a criterion over the Quran?
No, and I'm just going to explain why. So, firstly, because Jesus is not doing anything on his own. Ultimately, God is the one who's abolishing. Let me just finish. What? That's the first thing. Secondly, stop. Let me make my point.
Muslim. When you say that's the first thing, let's do it one point at a time.
All right, go on.
When you say that's the first thing, that's as if that first thing was actually valid. It wasn't. Is there any prophet that gives a law outside of but by themselves?
That gives a law by themselves?
Yeah. Do they ever give a law by themselves?
Well, I know from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he only spoke revelation, what came to him from God.
Awesome. So the prophets who give laws are getting laws through revelation, right?
They're giving laws through revelation, which comes from God.
Okay. So I'll ask again. When Jesus comes with his law, abolishing the jizya, that's his law, right? That he gets from Allah, right?
He doesn't come with a new law. He just abolishes the jizya.
Is the jizya
gonna follow
a law?
The Sharia?
Is the jizya a law?
It's just one law. It's like one part.
Cool.
And I was trying to explain, but you're not letting me go on. Let me tell you why. Let me just maybe this will make it clear.
So the jizya is a law, correct?
Yes, but let me just make it clear. Let me just elaborate a little more so you can understand where I'm coming from.
I'm confused because
let me tell you.
Jesus, if the jizya is a law and Jesus comes and abolishes the jizya law, that means Jesus is bringing a new law that overcame the last one, right?
Firstly, he's not bringing anything new. He's abolishing a law. Okay, that's the first.
Is that new?
You're not letting me make my point. Let me just
you
make
just
my
said
point.
Something. You just made it.
I know, but it goes hand in hand with what I'm about to say.
Okay, hold on.
You're not letting me say it.
I'm sorry, because look, Muslim. Every time you say a first point, you're building your argument off this first.
But my first point wasn't finished. Okay, it's not 2 points. They're all 1 point together.
Okay, fine.
It's all 1 point.
Okay, fine. So when you say it's not a new law, that doesn't work. Because watch this. The jizya is a law, as you already said, correct?
Yes.
Okay. If the jizya gets overturned, then the law that overturns the jizya is a newer law than the jizya, right?
You're not saying he's gonna put something else instead of jizya, right? He's just gonna omit it. He's just gonna omit it.
Yeah, if you have a law and then there's a new law that omits the previous law, this law that omitted the previous is a new law, right?
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that.
Awesome. So Jesus is bringing a new law. So is his new law, since he's abolishing the jizya, is Jesus's new law a criterion over the Quran?
God through Jesus is doing that.
So
there's nothing wrong with what I'm saying.
Okay, so is Jesus's law an authority, a criterion over the Quran?
Because it's coming from God, and God at that moment, because they're all under one nation, there's no three communities or whatever, there's no more point of jizya. So at that moment, God tells Jesus to stop.
You explaining the reasoning,
the jizya.
Brother, you explaining the reasoning to me is not helping me. I just need a yes or a no on this. Whatever your reasoning is on why Allah's abolishing the jizya now through Jesus, you can have that. That's fine. But I need you to answer the question. When Jesus is bringing this new law that abolishes, that abrogates the jizya, does that mean that Jesus's law, new law, is now authoritative over the Quran?
It's the final authority, yes. That's the law people should follow.
Boom. So that means that Jesus is bringing a final revelation, right? Not the Quran.
I don't like the way you're wording it, like a final revelation.
You may not like the way
you're phrasing
it, but
it, like
just logical.
Authority and new revelation. Like it's not really the way you're portraying it.
You want to know why I'm wording it this way?
Because that would backfire. Because when the Quran is adding jizya to the Torah, now you're admitting that at least for the time that Jesus comes, it is the authority over it. If you want to say Jesus is the authority, then you're gonna say, well, the Quran is the authority over the Torah. Well, at least to a certain point, if you want to grant your case.
Do you want to know why I'm wording it this way? You want to know why?
Make your point.
I'll tell you. I'm wording it this way because you worded it this way. You said this. You said that. You said this when it came to the Quran. So I'm using the same language that you used for Jesus's new law that's going to abolish laws of the Quran. You said this. So I'm just using your language. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you left up the part where I said God is the one who's doing it through Jesus. So
no worries. That doesn't change anything. Just like God is the one doing it through Muhammad. God is the one doing it through Moses. Who cares? God is the one doing it through Jesus. So Jesus brings a new law that by your own language becomes an authority and final revelation over the Quran, right?
I answered that. I answered it.
So is that a yes?
I hope this isn't like for clips, but I already answered. I don't want to keep like repeating the same thing.
Truth and understanding. Is that a yes?
Mm-hmm. I answered it.
So is that a yes? Was your answer yes?
If you're gonna let me explain, because honestly, the past like 5 minutes, like I couldn't, I can barely get a word in.
You give me a yes. Give me a yes or a no. You can explain all you want.
Yes, God is the authority over the Quran.
That's what I asked. See, notice how you're doing that. Notice how you're doing that.
No, you said that it is from God. You said that Jesus brings it from God.
Very specific again. Let me be very specific again, and I'll give you. I need you to answer me honestly, and you can explain. You can expound how you want.
I'm not going to answer differently. That's the answer, honestly.
Okay, good.
I would like to have the conversation to keep going.
Okay, cool. So
I already answered. I don't want to keep going in circles.
Let's do it this way. So, Jesus bringing a new law from God. Jesus's new law that he received from God is the final revelation and final authority over the Quran, correct?
God's final law is the final authority over the Quran, which comes through Jesus.
Through Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. So Jesus's new law that he gets from Allah is the final revelation and final authority over the Quran, which means that the Quran is not the final authority. Quran is not the final revelation. So everything you said on the reason why the Quran is the ultimate Al-Furqan is now thrown out the window.
Yep.
Okay. So if you allow me to speak now.
Go ahead. You got it, man.
So, yeah. So the way you phrased it might sound good for a clip, maybe. But at the end of times, there's no more point for jizya because everyone will be united under one government, under one ruling. There's no more Jew, Christian, Muslim, whatever. There's no more point of jizya. It's all under one ummah, under one caliphate or community when Jesus comes back. So there's no more point of jizya anymore. And let's say, Jesus is gonna come back, whatever. I don't see like the case that you're making there, but so then you'd have to say, well, the Quran at least until the time, until Jesus comes back, is the authority over the Torah, at least until that time, if you like from your position. So would you agree with that or not?
No, this is your position, dude.
Yeah.
No,
Basically,
no,
you're
go ahead,
saying, you're saying that the Quran is some sort of ultimate authority over all the scriptures.
No, I just started with the laws. There's, I wanted to go to other verses. I made that case. Yes, but this verse doesn't prove that alone. This verse proves it just in regards to laws.
Quran is, you're saying the Quran is the ultimate authority because of its laws.
No,
Avery
I didn't say
went
that.
to what that's what you said earlier, man.
That was just one thing I was bringing up. I said there are many verses.
So in
I was speaking just on the basis of laws.
So in light of what you, goodness gracious, in light of what you said, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Let's just go to a verse. Let's just give us a verse where it says the Quran is the ultimate Al-Furqan.
I'm gonna go to it. Okay, I'm gonna go
one
to
of these days.
No, not one of these days. Like you guys are just running from the question that I was asking.
We are begging you to give us a verse.
How on earth? Because you're logic, like you're logical, right? How on earth?
And he's inspiring philosophy. He's philosophical,
and he's a philosopher. Okay, and I'm just a random guy in a basement.
I don't think so, man. I think you're the champ. You're better than a job. I mean that genuinely.
How can a book that is enforcing jizya upon the Jews who have the Torah, not an authority over the Torah, at least in just that regard? Like, how could you not agree with that?
Does the Torah have a law regarding jizya? Like not paying jizya?
Well, you guys have jizya in the Bible?
No.
Okay, then. So it's adding something to it.
I got you. So the Torah says nothing about jizya, and the Quran comes and says the Jews and Christians who disbelieve have to pay jizya. So this has nothing to do with the Torah, correct?
They follow the Torah. This is a law that they have to follow on top of the Torah.
This law has nothing to do and no connection with the Torah, correct? It's not abrogating anything in the Torah, right?
It's adding to it.
It's adding to it?
Well, look. Let me just phrase it correctly. So they followed the judgment that's in the Torah, okay? Because so they followed the rulings that are in the Torah, but the Quran is enforcing a Quranic rule upon them, and the Torah that does not. So this is an act of authority that the Quran is doing on these people.
Is implying on the people, not the Torah, right? Because the Torah has nothing to do with the jizya, correct?
It goes hand in hand because they're still only supposed to follow their book, yet the Quran is forcing them.
But they're also supposed to follow the Prophet as well, right? They're supposed to believe in him, right?
The Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're supposed to become Muslims or they're not going to be successful.
Okay. So let's think about this slowly. The Torah says nothing to or for or against jizya. The Quran comes and says something for jizya and applies it to the people. So it's not abrogating anything within the Torah, correct?
It's not abrogating, no.
Awesome. So the jizya law has nothing to do with the Torah or the gospel. Here's the difference. Jesus' new law that he's going to come back with has to do with your Quran directly. Yep. He's abolishing what is said in the Quran. So Jesus' law is authoritative over the Quran, while the Quran ain't saying nothing or doing anything in regards to the Torah and gospel. And remember, it's your language.
Yeah, so again, I explained how it's all going to be like one community and like there's no point of jizya anymore. That's the first thing. Secondly, the Torah, from what I know, they're supposed to follow only the laws that are in the Torah. It never tells them that like to follow any other book or at their time at least. Well, I don't think the Torah says that you should like go to an external book and follow their laws, whatever. So the Quran is being authoritative in that it's going against what it's saying, and at least in that regard.
Where?
Where, bro?
Okay, so the,
That was a nice attempt. I see where you was going with that. That's a nice try. But the Torah
okay,
don't
does
say
the
like
Torah
that.
say you should follow like anything else other than the Torah?
It doesn't say anything like that.
Okay, and
No.
then the Quran is enforcing a law onto it, so it's going against what it
It's not
teaches.
enforcing
If
a
it
law
actually
on the
teaches
Torah
that.
at all. Again, it's not enforcing a law on the Torah. It's forcing the law on the people. Has
Yeah,
nothing to do
and
with the Torah.
also even in Surah 9, it's not even enforcing that law on the Christians. It's forcing a law on the Muslims to force us to pay the jizya. It's a law for Muslims, actually.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. The Quran
Wow.
is nowhere saying, hey, Christians, I have a new law for you. It's saying, hey, you Muslims, you are going to enforce the jizya law onto them and force them to pay it.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a
and
good
it goes
point.
against what their book says. But I want to go to other verses because you're asking, well, where does the Quran say?
We still haven't gotten the verse where the Quran is said to be the Furqan over the previous scriptures. You said you're going to give us that. 929 didn't work. What do you have, bro?
I think it works, but it's fine.
Even by your own admission, it didn't work.
Mhm.
By your own
consent. Chapter 7 also says that the Prophet is abrogating laws and enforcing laws to the Jews and Christians. So he's also an authority
Where
on
does
them
it?
there.
Hold on a second. Where does it say that the Quran is the ultimate Furqan, bro? Does it say that anywhere?
Yeah, we can go to it. But 7157 actually goes hand in
You
hand.
said, yeah, we can go to
929.
it. So let's go
This
to
the
it.
verse.
Okay, chapter
Oh my gosh.
chapter 3, 3-4.
Okay,
There
chapter
it
3
is.
through
And
to 4.
548 as well.
Well, we'll stick with one at a time. We already dealt with 548.
No, we
3
didn't.
through to 4. 3.
I would love to speak
to
about
4.
548.
You want to do
Yeah.
You want to do 548 instead? No. We deal with 548 all the time. Let's have some fun. 3 through
Let's
to 4.
start with, we can start with 3-4
Okay,
first.
3 through to 4. So, ladies and gentlemen, 3 through to 4 says, "It is us who have revealed to you the book in truth, confirming that which came before it, and we revealed the Torah and the gospel before as a guidance and light for mankind, and we revealed the criterion, Al-Furqan." Right?
Okay, so everybody listening, he just read a verse in the Quran where all three books. He just read in the 3-4 where all three books are mentioned. All three books are mentioned, and guess what, guys? Only the Quran between the Gospel and the Torah is called the criterion in the context of the books. He literally just read it. You can't escape
where does it
this.
say that? Where does it say the book in truth is the decisive authority or criterion?
Okay, we're gonna keep twisting. We're just gonna keep twisting.
I literally just asked
verses
me a
here.
question. It says he revealed the book in truth, the Torah, the gospel, and the Furqan. That's 4, isn't it?
No, let me tell you why. This actually destroys your argument. I'm gonna tell you why. So if you go to Quran 3-4, okay. Let me just open Quran.com. Well, you're claiming that, it starts with, he has revealed to you, O Prophet, the book in truth. And then it says, confirm that what came before it as he revealed the Torah and the gospel. Oh, well, guys, now we have 3 books here. And then it's saying, previously as a guide for people and also revealed the criterion. He's saying now, look, guys, now it's 4 books. It's 4 books. But that's not the case because
Why not?
it starts off by saying, we have revealed to you the book in truth, confirm what came before it.
Which is what?
Hold on, one sec.
Hey, Avery, just real quick. I'm just letting you know I'm inviting you, Life, Word, and you. Okay.
Okay.
Inviting you on a trip. So all 4 of you.
Nice.
I mean 3.
It's 4 of us?
That's what I said. You, Life, Word, and you. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's 4.
that's 4. That's all 4 of us. It's clearly 4.
Mm-hmm.
Mashallah. All right. While he's I guess looking up what he's looking up, let's read some super chats here. Man, what a cook fest. Hey, God Logic. Your previous debate with Hijab is
hello?
Is it going? Oh, just let me read the super chat real quick. Is it going around a big channel named? Okay, it is going around. A big channel named Metatron has a 15-minute video calling out Hijab's BS. Wow.
Yep. Metatron. That's big. Yep.
Wow. All right, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, sorry, I had to cut off there. So Yeah, basically what I was saying is, he has revealed to you, O Prophet, the book and truth. That's the Quran, confirming what came before it as he revealed the Torah and the Gospel. Previously, as guides for people, and also revealed the criterion. So first, God is speaking about that he revealed the Quran, and then he speaks about the 2 books. And after speaking about the 2 books, he gives the description of the Quran as the criterion in the context of the 3 books.
Where?
We just read it.
No, I'm confused. So I'm gonna put it on the screen.
Of course you're gonna say that. It's so clear. It's so clear. It's right in front of us.
It's so clear. It's as clear as me saying I'm inviting Avery, Word, Life, and Avery. Okay, that's just as clear as that, man.
MashaAllah. I think it's clearly talking about the Psalms here. That's what it seems like. Since the Psalms isn't mentioned.
Yeah, why not?
Prove me wrong. Yeah, the Zabur. Prove me wrong.
Oh my! There's no way. There's no way.
Why not?
Well, of course you're gonna say that. Whether
what do you mean? I think it's clearly in the text.
What? First, he speaks about the Quran, then speaks about the 2 books, and then he gives a description of the Quran as the criterion.
Where does he get? Where does it say it's describing the Quran here?
That's the context.
It doesn't say.
Other books. The context is the Torah and Gospel in the immediate context. That's the most recent referent.
Brother, there's a chronology going on there. The Psalms was revealed thousands of years before the Prophet. There's an obvious chronology going on there.
I'm confused.
And the Quran is called the Furqan all over the Quran.
If it's a chronology, then why is the Quran mentioned first?
Because it then gives a description about it after mentioning the 2 books to show you that it is the criterion.
I thought it was chronological.
To tell you that it is the criterion.
But I thought it was chronological. Oh, I see. So what we're saying here is that see, the verse mentions the Quran first, but the verses and the verse is chronological. It's talking about the revelation of the books in chronological order, right? Which means that when the Quran is mentioned first, really, it means it's being mentioned last.
Powerful.
You don't see how?
No, so this is a pattern we see all over the Quran in many areas. For example, in chapter 5, it speaks about the Torah, then speaks about the Gospel, and then speaks about the Quran in many different places. We see the same pattern.
Pause. What did it speak about first? What did it speak about first?
The Torah.
Chapter 5? Oh, the Torah. What does it speak about first in chapter 3, verse 3 and 4?
This one's different because then it goes on. Look, hold on.
Man, you're killing me.
When it comes to chronology, on this verse, I wouldn't appeal to chronology on this verse. I wouldn't say that here.
Bro, you refuted yourself. You said it goes in a chronological order and you went to 5 where it actually goes in chronological order. And so by this logic, I guess the book in truth is something else long before the Torah.
I think chronology wouldn't apply for this verse.
So now chronology doesn't apply for this passage after you said it applies to this passage. Great. So it doesn't apply now.
Okay, look.
You can change his mind.
You can make theatrics. It's fine. Okay. But you said it's a psalm. So that's the most laughable thing I've ever heard in my whole life.
All right. So hold on, just really quick. So number 1, IP, I don't think it's fair to make fun of someone who can change their position if they see that it's wrong. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he did a very good thing. He did something that Hijab was incapable of doing.
Yep.
Muhammad Hijab was incapable of let me change my position because this point doesn't work. You're so far better than Muhammad Hijab. You're a better debater, a better interlocutor. You're engaging in good faith so far, it seems, with this revelation here. Now that that's moved to the side, it's not chronological, forget that. Now you're saying that it's laughable that I'm saying that the criterion here is the Psalms. Why? Because the Quran's already mentioned, Torah and Gospel are mentioned. The only one that's not mentioned here is the Psalms or the Scrolls of Abraham. So why is it laughable to believe that, since all those other books were mentioned already, that the criterion must be referring to the Psalms? Because Ibn Abbas says that all the books of Allah are Al-Furqan. You'll find it in Al-Tabari's breakdown.
Yeah, firstly, because we have a whole chapter called The Criterion coming in regards to the Quran. That's the first thing. Secondly, Secondly,
The Torah is also called the Furqan. So what?
not in the context of the 7th century. There isn't a whole surah.
In the context of the 7th century,
Show me in the context of the 7th century.
Okay, watch this. The Quran in the 7th century refers to the Torah as Al-Furqan, right?
At the time of Moses and Aaron, peace be upon them.
Okay. Does it limit the Torah to being the Al-Furqan in Moses' time? Does it limit it to that?
You're switching now. First you said, well, it's in the context of the 7th century.
No,
there's no verse in the context of the 7th century.
Just give me an answer. Does the Quran limit it to that, yes or no?
Yes, because it says it's corrupted.
Okay. So, according to chapter 5, verse 43, you know it. You mentioned it earlier.
But we're jumping now to another verse.
No, you asked me to show you, right?
Okay, but let me just finish my point on this verse. I want to finish.
You asked me to show you where the Torah is still a Furqan in the 7th century period, right? That's what you asked me to do, right?
Yeah, but I didn't finish my point on this verse.
Wait, so you didn't want me to answer you?
Yes, but let me just finish my point. I'll just speak shortly and then we can go there because we also wanted to speak on 548 and I don't want to stay on here
I'm confused because you told me that it's laughable that the Zabur is the Furqan in this verse because the Quran elsewhere is called the Furqan. My retort to that, well, the Torah is also called the Furqan elsewhere. But you're saying, oh yeah, no, but only for that time.
But you're not saying it's the Torah in chapter 3, verse 4.
So
you're not saying it's
the
Torah.
Problem with me saying it's the Psalms?
Yeah, firstly, no one's gonna fall for that. Like anyone with normal IQ
Not an argument.
will fall for that. That's
just saying, nuh-uh.
Okay, yeah, no problem. People can decide. That's the first thing. Secondly,
well, that's not a thing at all. Saying, well, nobody's gonna actually believe it. That's not an argument. When you say, well, first thing, that's not an argument. What's the actual argument that it's not the Psalm?
So I was trying to make my point. We have a whole chapter in the Quran where it's called Al-Furqan, referring to the Quran by itself.
So
there's no mention. The Psalms is barely mentioned in the Quran.
So therefore, if something is called Al-Furqan, then that's what it's talking about in this verse?
No, I'm making a probabilistic case. I'm making it like which one is more probable. Brother, the Psalms is never called the Furqan.
You need to stand on something, man. Stand on something. Are you saying, is your argument that, well, it can't be the Zabur, it can't be the Psalms because the Quran is called Al-Furqan? Is that your argument? Yes or no?
One of my points.
Awesome. So with that same logic, IP, what's wrong with his logic? What does this do?
Well, the Torah is called the Al-Furqan.
So can we rightly say that the Torah is being spoken here in verse 4?
Must be.
Is that consistent, Alex?
Oh, so God is confirming the Torah and then is revealing the Torah?
Where does it say that it's confirming the Torah in verse 4?
He has revealed to you, O Prophet, the book in truth, confirming what came before, as he revealed the Torah and the gospel. So he's confirming the Torah here previously as a guide for people and also revealed the Torah. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, didn't he just say that he revealed it and confirmed it? Is that what he said?
So he's revealing the Torah again to the Prophet. He's not revealing the Quran.
Where does it say he's revealing it again? This is prior and revealed the criterion.
Look, I want to move on to another verse because it's unbelievable, like interpretation. It's
saying
like
so are you conceding? So are you conceding?
I'm not conceding. This is like insane mental gymnastics. It's unbelievable.
So then help me out, please. Prove me wrong from.
I don't think I can get through you like with this verse anymore. So I think we can. Okay, so for the sake of time as well. No, I'm not conceding. It's clear. Anyone with a normal IQ would know.
Insulting the argument is not actually responding to the argument. You're doing that. You're saying this is so ridiculous because you don't actually have an argument and you want people to think that this is just so silly. When in reality, what you're just showing everyone is you don't have an argument, and so you're just using this smoke and mirrors tactic to pretend like you do.
MashaAllah.
Oh, is he gone?
He's right there.
Yeah, I'm here. You can think so. I mean, it's again, right. we don't have a lot of time, and only the Quran and the Torah are called the Furqan. That's like another argument I can make.
The Psalms is called
the Furqan, and it can't be the Torah in that context. The Zabur is never called the Furqan in the Quran.
It's called the Furqan here. What do you mean?
Oh, okay. So he's confirming the Torah and he's revealing the Torah as well.
That's what he just said in verse 3. He said he's confirming the Torah and he revealed the Torah. That's what he said, right?
This is
Ain't that what he
laughable.
said? Wait, is that what he said?
I'm a Muslim. I'm trying to be unbiased. Like I can't believe. There's no way I can believe what you're saying,
brother. Is that what he said?
It doesn't. If you want to be like, well, because the Torah is called the Furqan at that time in the past.
Brother,
now it's also so every time the Quran is called.
Let me do this again because it seems like you're having trouble understanding what I just asked you.
Oh,
is that what it just said? In verse 3, does it say that Allah sent down the book confirming what came before it, i.e. the Torah and the gospel, and he revealed the Torah and the gospel? Did it not just say it's confirming the Torah and he revealed it?
You can think so. It's fine. You can think so. Let's go to 548.
Oh, Lord.
Brother, there's no way. There's no way. Like you think you got one up on me on this one. Like that is Psalms being the Furqan, whatever. Let's go to 548.
Respectfully, I got other guests, bro. I got other guests. But I'll tell you.
But you said we're gonna talk about it. Let's go over it quickly.
You demonstrated that you cannot even be honest, bro. You can't.
How am I not being honest?
You can't be honest. I can't.
I just don't think that's the right interpretation. I didn't
ask if it's the right.
We disagree. There's no problem.
I didn't ask if it's the right interpretation. I asked, is that what it says? Is that difficult for you guys?
Okay,
I don't care about your interpretation. I don't care about IP's interpretation. Dang, it's difficult.
Okay, it says revealed the criterion, right?
And I don't care about my interpretation.
It says the criterion.
In verse 3, does it say that the Torah is confirmed and revealed?
It's confirmed in verse 3.
And?
As he revealed. So, yeah, both revealed and confirmed.
Awesome. So you're bringing me this dismissal. Or are you saying that he confirmed it and revealed it? He just said that in verse 3. What's wrong with that?
That's fine. Would you like to talk about 548 before I leave?
Sure. We could talk about it now. As long as I could get some concessions, man. Some honesty, bro. Yeah. That's all I care about, man. That's it.
Okay, what's your argument for 548? Because I think the Quran there is saying that it is dominant over the previous scriptures.
It's not what it says.
It says it's a guardian protector. That's what the word Muhammad means.
Muhammad doesn't just mean guardian. Does it all? It has other meanings.
No, hold on.
It means basically in Nikolai Sinai in this book says it's basically just it's just a saying the same thing as Mosadic, which means it's
all
confirming.
Right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is why is the camera like this? Hold on 1 second.
What are you showing? Maybe I can help because you don't have to like flip it around. What are you showing?
So this is the dictionary.
Okay, hold on. Let me put this up here.
But the camera is, why is it moving the opposite way?
I don't know. Go ahead. You got big screen, bro. Go ahead.
It's like the opposite way. But anyways, Muhaymin. Where's so as you can see here, Muhaymin, dominant, dominating, predominant, overriding. This is if you look at the website. I'm trying to go. If you guys can see the website, that's one of the dictionaries. There's also another dictionary here, which also says, where's the other one? Which also says something similar. It says dominant, predominating, commanding, controlling, overriding, predominant, dominator.
I got you.
So the word Muhaymin doesn't just mean guarding over something. It also part of one of the. So it doesn't just have one meaning. It also means dominating.
It's a guardian and a dominator. Is that right?
Yes.
Like both of them are one and the same.
Yes.
Okay. So I want to throw this thought to you. Okay. I want to throw this thought to you. Mujahid and Ibn Kathir and a few others, they said that Muhammad is the Muhammad over the Quran.
In the context of 548?
Yep.
Yep.
Now, to be fair, Ibn Kathir doesn't agree that 548 says that Muhammad is Muhammad over the Quran, but he says that this is correct in meaning. Okay, so he doesn't interpret 548 that way, but like overall, just in meaning, he agrees that yes, Muhammad is Muhammad over the Quran. Mujahid, though, and others, they said that in 548, it's saying that Muhammad is Muhammad over the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, just real quick, Avery, that's important. Do you think these guys are heretics?
Do I think they're heretics?
Yeah.
So first they said Ibn Kathir doesn't agree with that. Secondly, the fact that...
No, he agrees with that, dude. What are you talking about? I just said it. He agrees that Muhammad is Muhammad over the Quran. He just...
Yeah, but you said he didn't believe something. What did you say earlier?
Yeah, let me say it again. So Mujahid and others say that chapter 5, verse 48 is saying that Muhammad is Muhammad over the Quran, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ibn Kathir doesn't agree that that's what 548 is saying, but he says that this is correct in meaning.
Yeah.
So meaning yet, yes, it's true that Muhammad is Muhammad over the Quran, but that's just not what chapter 5, verse 48 is saying.
Okay, so I'm just answering that very quickly. So you just gave me Mujahid, who believes that Ibn Kathir agrees in meaning. I see where he's coming from because God revealed the Quran through the Prophet. So anything that he says is the Quran. So whatever he says is the authority in regards to what the Quran is and what is not. Secondly, I'm not a
Muhammad dominant.
I'm not a Sunni. Is Muhammad dominant over the Quran?
Yeah.
I explained how he, in the sense that whatever he says is the Quran, is the Quran, because he's the one bringing us the book.
Yeah, so is Muhammad dominant over the Quran?
I just explained it. What didn't you understand?
Yes or no, man?
Is that a yes or is that a no?
In the sense that I explained, yes. Ultimately, God is the one who is the supreme.
Did you hear that, folks?
Whoa.
Yeah, write that one down. Yeah, you write that one down. Muhammad is dominant over the Quran.
Yeah, Al-Furqan is the Zabur, guys. It is the Psalms. Yeah. That's amazing.
No, hold on. This got to be written down in the red book, man. Let me
bring my book. I'm gonna write down the Furqan is the Psalms, guys.
This is a great honor.
Go write
You're
it
going
down
in the
now.
red book. You just take in the moment, man. You're going in the red book. This is a great honor. You should be real proud of yourself, sir. Salute you.
Yes.
Really, you're in that place in there, man.
Muhammad.
Like he keeps asking those questions. Is Jesus dominant? Is Muhammad dominant? Like what's like we're gonna keep going in circles about these like just clip farming questions.
Over. What's going on with my pen, man? Don't mess up on me now. This is too good.
Mm-hmm.
Over.
Tell me what's wrong with what I said. What's wrong with what I said?
I'll tell you in a second, okay?
Yeah, we got you.
Over the Quran. Okay. And this was my friend, Muslim/Alex.
Yep.
Don't worry, I got you on my book as well. The Furqan is the Psalms. God logic. Got you here, Rin.
Thanks, man. What color is your book?
What color is my book?
Yeah.
It's the same as yours.
Oh, you got a red book too?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So here's what's wrong with your statement, bro. Number one, none of the scholars understood Muhammad to be that way. That's number one. Number two, if you're going to agree and say that Muhammad is dominant over the Quran, you are saying that Muhammad is dominant over the uncreated speech of Allah. One of his divine attributes. You have a creature who is dominant over one of the eternal attributes of Allah.
This is why I specifically asked if you thought these guys were heretics, because Mujahid, by that, if he says again, Muhammad is the Muhammad on the Quran, you'd have to declare him a heretic.
In the sense that Prophet Muhammad independently, without God, is giving us the Quran, then of course that's an issue. But what I said, and he went down writing on a paper as if he did something, I said ultimately, what we think is the Quran is what the Prophet tells us is the Quran after he receives revelation from God. That's what I said. So
yeah, but you also then finished off and said that yes, Muhammad is dominant over the Quran.
I said in a way, in a sense.
Yeah. So if there's any sense in which a creature is dominant over the attributes of Allah, the eternal attributes and the eternal speech of Allah,
not if you word it that way.
Sure.
You're going to extremes. That's
well, I'm not going into
not what I'm saying.
I'm not. That is what you're saying. You just said that that Muhammad is dominant over the Quran, which is the eternal speech of Allah, right?
You said I'm dishonest. Look how you're twisting my words. I never worded it that way.
Dishonest, bro. I didn't say that.
Earlier you said I was being dishonest. Look the way you're not even saying everything that I said. You're just twisting my words.
Okay. Well, there's something that you just did, and there's nothing that I can put into words, but this is the only way I can express it.
Just left Islam, left the Quran, left the Quran. You just left Islam, that's haram, that's haram. You just left Islam, now you's a kafir, you's a Quran. You just left Islam, no more takbir. Stuck for a lie, why would you say that? Stuck for a lie, you know what you did. Stuck for a lie, why would you do that? Stuck for a lie, you know that was stupid. You just left Islam, left the Quran, left the Quran. You just left Islam, that's haram, that's haram. You just left Islam, now you's a kafir. You just left Islam. Congrats, Habibi.
Now, he's gone, but I just want to say this. Since you left Islam and committed shirk, that is a sin that Allah will not forgive. But guess what? You can find forgiveness in your shirk in Christ Jesus.
Yep.
He will wipe you clean and make you pure of your shirk tendencies. Come to Christ, man. Allah won't forgive you for what you just did, but Christ is ever forgiving, the most forgiving. He'll forgive you for committing shirk like that. Come to Christ. IP, what do you think, man? Whoa.
Every time they do this, man, I mean, like, every time they do this, it's like they do not realize the damage they are doing to Islam. Like, just declaring Ibn Kathir and Mujahid heretics by that is just wild to me. It's wild.
Well,
they know better than their own scholars.
He didn't. Did he say that they were heretics?
Well, that would be implied. If Muhammad means dominant, well, and Mujahid was saying that Muhammad is dominant or Muhammad over the Quran, okay, then you're saying that a creature is dominant over the uncreated speech of Allah.
And he didn't say anything wrong with that.
And he didn't say anything wrong. That's pretty messed up.
Wow.
Powerful.
Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. No doubt.